This conversation I had recently, I had breakfast with a relatively young financial planner, and I
Okay.
consider one of the best, sharpest, smartest financial planners I've ever met, and especially at her age.
So young up and coming superstar.
Yeah, and she brought up this fear, and it's interesting. I've heard this hundreds of times, and since the conversation, it's come up in probably 3 or 4 different podcasts that I've done.
Okay.
This fear, almost a paralyzing fear around being wrong, right?
Okay.
This in our planning, right? This need to be like, well, what if I'm wrong? What if the
Right.
plan doesn't work out the way it's supposed to? What if the portfolio needs to be adjusted? What if the goals aren't what we thought they were going to be? What if, and even as I'm listing those, it to me, I've realized that something has flipped in my head where I've realized that, of course, the plan isn't going to work out the way it's supposed to, or the way you planned. You know what I mean? Like, of course, it's not going to. And I've just accepted that doing real financial planning means living in wrongness. And the goal is to be a little bit more right each day, right? It's not about being precisely correct today. It's about being less wrong tomorrow. But in accepting that, you have to accept that you're wrong today, right? And if there was a scale, like you're 10 wrong today, and tomorrow you want to be 9.5 wrong, that means we have to accept that we're wrong. So first question is, that I'd like to talk about is, how does it feel to live in wrongness as part of your job? How do you deal with that? And second would be, how do we communicate that with clients? Because the person next door, the joker down the street, is going to sell a list of certainty. Prospective clients coming in your door and their door, they're going to tell them how certain they are, even though we know that's a myth. They're going to sell certainty. So how do you communicate with clients that, look, it's course corrections, it's less wrong? So those are the two questions. How have you approached? Because you're a very precise, like, I'm going to analyze. I think you have a reputation of analyzing things, that you do studies and you have
research. We try not to put the research in quotes.
You have abacuses.
Like think of his actual research, but yes.
You have law.
For those who can't see, Carl is air quoting right now.
You have large calculators and big computers. How do you deal with the fact that, because sorry, this is a long-winded intro, but I've only recently discovered that it's not an or, it's an and. What I mean by that is, like, we are going to do the best we possibly can to be exactly right on this plan. And we know we're wrong. That requires, that's a lot of cognitive dissonance. Hey, it's Carl here. Thought I'd just take a second after you watched that clip with Michael and I to tell you about something that I think is amazing. And I know I'm biased, but we've built this thing over at the Society of Advice. We call it the membership. And I want to be super clear about what it is. I don't know about you, but there are very few times on my calendar that are dedicated times to think about the impact I make on the world, right? To think about the impact I want my work to make, to take a step back or up, right? And think about the business because I'm so busy working in the business. Well, that's what we built the membership for. We meet once a month, 90 minutes. The key here is to dedicate it in your calendar. We already know the dates for months in advance, right? You put it in your calendar, you come, all distractions off, right? Camera on. And what you're going to do is listen to a private conversation that you could hear nowhere else between me and some super impactful person that I invite. Sometimes you'll know them. They're like world famous authors. Other times you'll have never heard of them, but I promise you they will knock your socks off, right? Like, super impactful. So you come for 90 minutes, distractions off, camera on, ready to listen, ready to participate in this amazing chat with all the other advisors that are there. And guess what will happen to you? I'm telling you what will happen because I've seen it happen over and over and over. An insight, right? An idea. And we all know, like, one idea can change your life. That's what we're after. It's an idea factory over at the Society of Advice membership program. Guess what? I have an idea for you. Try it out. I want to make it easy on you. Click the link and check it out. It's a 7-day free trial of my membership program to see if you like it, because I think you will. And let me know. Thanks, my friend.